It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
And welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we are joined by Yavapai College Dean of Technical Programs, John Morgan. John is on the show today to speak about Yavapai College's new 10,000 square foot skilled trade center that will be on the Clarkdale campus by the end of fall. Construction is currently underway for that beautiful facility, and we thought we'd bring in Mr. Morgan to speak about that. John, welcome on to the show. We are happy to have you.
Thanks for having me, Philip. Glad to be here.
Well, as I mentioned last week, Yavapai College broke ground on a 10,000 square foot skilled trade center in Clarkdale. So I want to start with this. Let's go back to the beginning. How did this project get originated?
Well, I think the Verde's been asking for us to increase our technical programs over there for quite a few years now. And we had new leadership in the college, and they were eager to get going on this. So they put together kind of a blue ribbon panel here about a year and a half ago and spent about 6 months with several meetings with this group, trying to identify, well, what makes the most sense in the Verde and what kind of technical skills would attract people, and also trying to keep an eye on attracting industry there as well into the Verde. So, they identified about 19 potential areas and then voted and narrowed it down to 7 that we took into serious consideration. So at that point, it was just up to the board to go ahead and try to get the funding secured for this. And so we're in phase 1 right now. And the first programs that were identified over there, 2 of them we've already put into place. We just started this fall. So that would be engineering. We have a pre-engineering program there, very strong program, some really good high tech. And then we have also our advanced manufacturing program that went into Building L. We just remodeled Building L, and that building now has a very advanced training in there for our nursing students, our EMT students, plus the engineering and manufacturing. That was exciting because we hadn't had engineering or manufacturing at all in the Verde, and we knew we had some manufacturing companies there. So those labs we have what we call an inverted model. Mm-hmm. What we do there is we front load a lot of students with hands-on in engineering before we stick them into calculus 1 through 4. Typically it's done the opposite way at a university where they put them in those, and it's kind of a mechanism to wash students out. Well, what we do is we put them in CNC machining, we put them in 3D printing, we put them in robotics up front. And then when you get into calculus, what you have is a frame of reference that you can actually apply that, because it's up here already in terms of operating those machines, which, have 5 axis on them and everything else. So
right.
That's gone really well. And so those were 2 of the 7 things, but we had already had plans and we're kind of down the road when they selected those. So by the time that we had selected it, we were ready to launch. The building you're talking about, the new Skills Trade Center, some of the key areas that the Verde identified as being critical needs with workforce shortage were in the construction trades. And construction continues to keep going here, and even during the COVID, construction really didn't stop. So what they identified was core construction areas like HVAC emerged quickly in there. So that's heating, air conditioning, refrigeration. Residential electricians, residential plumbing, and then just traditional construction. So everything from the rough-in, framing, roofing, concrete, etc. So this first building, this 10,000 foot building, it has 4 quadrants in it. And I do have the ability to pull those up if you guys want to see them. But the 4 quadrants in them are each just open bays. So right in the middle of the building is 4 faculty offices, but they each look out into the respective bay that their classes are going to be taught in. So one of the bays is strictly to build some tiny homes, and we're working with VIAC, which of course is the CTE in the Verde Valley.
Right.
They're going to run their construction program there, and one of their goals is to build some tiny homes in there. They would be wood constructed type homes, but they can teach students at the high school level the basics, and then push those out and get a little money off of that to kind of help sustain their program. So that particular bay is designed to where we can build that inside and not have to fight the weather. And then we can move it outside as well, because part of the building is very large overhangs and patios around kind of the whole north and east side. So we can work outside on these projects and also stay out of the weather when we do have inclement weather. Wouldn't allow us to stop production. In the other bay, in electrical, so let's talk about residential electrical. That bay has, we'll build a mock framed house in it to start out with. And that framed house would stay in there, would be a permanent fixture where we can just teach residential wiring and electrical. So each time we can install all the electrical and take it back out, still have all the basic framework intact, get ready for the next class. Same thing for residential plumbing. We'll build a framed out mock house in there, and it'll have, kitchen, bathroom, everywhere you'd have your plumbing. And you can go then teach the students how to do the plumbing. We'll also have a kind of a unique thing in it. We'll have a sand pit, which will teach students how to dig out and do the underground stuff for their piping right there inside the building.
Okay.
So that would be kind of a unique feature that will allow us to cover that. And then the final bay is our HVAC bay, and we've really gone all in on this one. It's an expensive program to do, but the college has come through, and yesterday was the final day. We just got all of the equipment wrapped up, and we'll be able to cover all of it, everything from walk-in coolers that restaurants have to storefront type coolers like a Circle K, to standard refrigeration for your home, heating for your home, boiler systems, hot water type systems, even air conditioning splits. So we have a little bit of everything to train on in there, and real pleased that we're going to be able to get our student to equipment ratios down to around 2 to 1, and that's huge in what we do. So there you go. I mean, that's a big deal for us, is getting plenty of hands-on time for these students.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I really like about this program that you just said is the hands-on aspect of it, because I did go to a university, and I do agree it is very much, here's the book, learn the book, and then we'll go do the thing. I am a hands-on person. I like to get my hands dirty. I like to go and do the things so that I know I have that frame of reference, like you just said, that I know, okay, I've worked on this type of machine. Now I know what the inner workings are, because now I'm starting to learn, and I've been hands-on with replacing it. And it seems, and just to be very clear here, John, you guys are not trying to phase out VACT. This is a very collaborative effort between the college and VACT. The college and VACT have been working together for quite a long time now. But just to be really clear, that this is just to benefit the Verde Valley and be almost an extension to VACT, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we're really big on the early college, and Bob Weir, the superintendent of VACT, has been working with us from the original concept on this. They've been in the meetings when we're trying to design the facility. And so our goal with this is the younger that we can push down education into the high schools, and that's VACT's whole concept, is getting technically trained students while they're in high school, the better off we're going to be. And I'll tell you why. It's too many times I think kids are kind of sold down the river, if you will, that the only way you're going to be successful in society is to go get your bachelor's, master's, etc. And that just flat hasn't been true for a long time. If that's what you want to do, then by all means, go for it. It's there. But
I did it.
Clearly, when the nation's jobs are 65, 70% of the nation's jobs are technical jobs that do not require a baccalaureate degree.
Right.
What we typically see that's kind of sad in a way is I have way too many students that come back to us to get a technical skill after they've spent $100,000 on a bachelor's, $150,000 by the time they get to a master's or PhD. And then it didn't pay off on the other end.
Right.
And so what ends up happening, they come to us, now they're realizing, well, I have to have a skill. I have to have a technical skill to work in this type of economy.
Right.
And they come back and then we get them a skill and they're off and running. So what I tell people, parents, because they talk to us a lot, and this is important for the younger ones to hear, is, look, when I use my own sons as an example. I've got twin boys, they're 29 years old. And when they were seniors in high school, they both came to me and they said, hey, Dad, we want to go to U of A. And so I said, well, okay, why do you want to go to U of A? And they said, because you did. And I said, okay, well, different time, and et cetera. So tell me what you want to do. And they said, well, we don't know yet. And what I told them was, look, I can't afford, dropping 50 grand a year on you guys to go career surf at a university right now. They're identical twins. And so I said, why don't you go to Yavapai, take a few things and surf a little bit there. We can do that on the cheap and, get a skill. Yeah. And if you get a skill, then if you still need your bachelor degree, then you can do that. But more importantly, what I did know, and mainly because of the role I'm in, is that if you have a skill and you work for companies, most companies will pay for your education once you're employed by them.
Hey, John.
So what I told him, yes,
John, I'm sorry, but I gotta cut you off. We got to go to break real quick. When we come back, John, we'll retouch upon that point, and we'll talk about the impact to the Verde Valley that this skilled trade center is going to have. Countywide will be right back. Stay with us.
Two things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at candbhomes.com.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain-relieving salves, full-spectrum oils, CBD skincare, bath bombs, and even CBD for your pets. Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Terrifying jobs, high-flying linemen, take 3.
Josh, this is an absolutely terrifying job. Why do you do it?
It's a very demanding job, but very rewarding and exciting.
How much energy are you actually working with up there?
500,000 volts of electricity.
It's definitely not my line of work. Does anything shock you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
I want to welcome you back here to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catafamo. On today's show, we are talking about Yavapai College's new skilled trade center in Clarkdale. My guest today is Yavapai College Dean of Technical Programs, John Morgan. John, we've been talking about how this project will serve the Verde Valley. You had a great story about how your sons were thinking about going down to a university. You convinced them to go to Yavapai College. I want to give you a chance to sort of finish that story here before we jump into how this project will benefit the Verde Valley long term.
Sure. So my sons ended up going to Yavapai College, and one of them started out in the diesel technician program, the other one into nursing. And the one that went into nursing 2 years later came back and said, "This is what I want to do with my life." Wow. And what I said was, and that's why you went to a community college. And so he pivoted, went into our electronics and automation program, and never looked back. And so by both of them getting into the trades, they got into apprenticeships along the way. The Monday after they graduated from college, they were employed full-time. They've never not been employed. And they have a very good, very universal skill set, both of them. So that's the story I want to tell, is that I had zero debt as a parent. They had zero debt. And more importantly, the companies that they work for have always paid for them to continue their education. So, working towards a bachelor's degree or whatever, companies have all kinds of packages once you get to them. So there's other ways that parents can get their kids to a university if they look in kind of a trades path.
Right. Well, John, you made a good point earlier. You talked about sort of the stigma around going into trades here for people that are, not too much younger than myself, going into their college, whether it be community or university. But, you're never not going to have a job if you go into a trade. There isn't a place on this earth that doesn't need a plumber, that doesn't need an electrician or a construction site. I mean, while the job market, the aspects of the job may change, the job itself will always be there. And I myself did not know what I wanted to do after high school. I went to a community college first. I figured out what I wanted to do, and then I went to a university, much like what your sons did. They wanted to go to university. You said go to the college. They went into a career field. Your one son was not sure about nursing. He then went into the more of the electrical aspect. It makes a lot of sense that kind of giving yourself an opportunity to figure out, okay, maybe this is a possible career path for me. I had spoken with a student from Mingus Union High School on my program Off the Bench, and he told me after high school he wanted to go into sort of these trades, these trade programs, and he wanted to go into metalworking. And that, to me, from somebody from California, you don't see that where I'm from. And I know a lot of these small towns throughout the United States are very similar to what we see here in the Verde Valley, which are kids who want to go into trades, want to go into union jobs, want to have a long-term success financially because they're in these jobs for so long. And I know here in the Verde Valley there is a need for these trades. And so I want to kind of pivot now into this question, John. Long-term, how does this facility help not only with the job market, but the housing? I know there's an aspect here with 3D concrete printers. So, you know, just in terms of the long-term benefits and as well as those printers, you know, what is the benefit to the Verde Valley with this new facility?
Well, I think the big tangible benefit is we want to keep our kids here. Yeah. It's a significant problem right now because we've got a bit of a brain drain going on. And so the housing is a really valid point. Obviously, we're going to continue to build housing here, but there is a housing shortage right now, and it's a bad one. And we also have, housing that's really not attainable for young people starting out in entry level. Housing has skyrocketed up here, and it's not a knock on builders or developers or anything like that. It's just is what it is, and the demand is high with retirees coming in. But if we're not careful here, we could tip the market too much. We still need a workforce here. We love our retirees, but we've got to have a workforce with it. And right now, housing is a significant issue. Every city in this county knows it. So what we did as a college was, we took a step back for a second here and realized, look, we have to attract a younger generation into the trades. They're not buying into it wholeheartedly anymore. And so we started taking a look at what's going on globally, especially in Europe and China on the 3D printing, concrete 3D printed houses. And they're 10 years down the road. The United States has been slow to adopt this. We're steep in tradition, and that's fine. But now all of a sudden people have realized, look, we've got to have alternative means to doing things. So there's been a pretty hard push, primarily from European companies, to come in and begin some of this in the United States. So it's very much grassroots in its infancy, but it allows us to build these houses fast. And that's a key thing. You're not looking at 180-day build out time or longer now. I mean, we can print the walls pretty much in a 3D printer home, and have them cured out and stuff in really about 48 hours, 72 maybe for a little bit larger home. And then you get a home that's almost earthquake proof because it's concrete. And so all the research is in the mix right now. It's in the thermal part of the mix, just in the strength of the mix. And we think younger people will be attracted to this. They're going to relate to 3D printing. Most schools have some type of 3D printer in the school now. But even more importantly, if we can get this proof of concept proven out the way we want to and figure out what is the true cost savings, if we can hit somewhere between 20 and 40% cost savings, now we're on to something. And this is the key part. If the builders who get into this will pass those savings on to the customer, because there's going to be a natural tendency to, I can build it cheaper, I can make more money. But until we get some folks that understand that we have to get the affordable housing in or you will have no labor force here. Right. That is a key issue, which is why the 3D printing. So we know it's generating buzz among the high schools. We've had some kids already talking to us about it. And, we plan on putting it into play as fast as we can. And the good thing about the 3D printer is it goes up in 2 hours. So it's portable. We can build anywhere we want in the county. We can take our classes to wherever we've got to go to the site, erect this thing, get the software plugged in and get going.
Yeah, and like you said, just the fact that it takes a shorter amount of time to put these houses up is going to allow for more projects to be done quicker. It's going to allow for more people to come live here more affordably. As you mentioned, right now there is a housing crisis here in the Verde Valley. Maybe not a crisis, may have been a bit of a harsher word, but there, as you mentioned, there are more people who are retired living up here. There are more people who are retired living up here. People who have already basically figured out what they want to do, and their kids are either gone or whatnot. But I'm rambling here. We need to go to another break here, John. When we come back, we'll give everybody an update as to where we are here with the project today and when we'll actually get students inside of this facility. Countywide will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Who
doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
Welcome back to Countywide. On today's show, we are talking about the new Skilled Trade Center in Clarkdale that Yavapai College is currently building. Yavapai College Dean of Technical Programs, John Morgan, is my guest. John, we've got about 3 minutes before we wrap up the show here. Where are we today with this project?
So we have broken ground on the project there. We've got all the groundwork done. We expect to start having the building up pretty much any day now. It's a steel building in there. It'll be insulated. Nice design, fits in well with the campus. And if all goes well, the building itself should be up and ready for us to move equipment in sometime in June, July, with a projected August start date to launch pretty much everything we have in it.
Yeah, and that's great. I know the plan right now is, as you just mentioned, get the construction done throughout the summer. We'll start to see kids hopefully use the facility in the fall, correct?
Correct. Yes. I mean, VAC's going to plug in to us there. They'll be having some students that come to us, and we'll have a mixture of adults with them as well. Plus, we're looking at the night market to help some of these adults that maybe have just a job but really want a career, maybe want to increase their wages and can come to night school. So that's kind of our overall plan, is to try to open it at night as well, to push these programs out to capture kind of a diverse mix of people that we have in the Verde.
Yeah, that's also the other benefit too, is opening up to people who are already in these career fields to, like you said, to get a certification or just go up in their current job field. Any future projects in the works before we wrap things up here, John?
Well, I think right now we're still continuing to monitor what the Verde needs are, and so we would have a phase 2 to this that's probably 2 to 3 years out, which would be another building. But right now the real goal is we've got to get this one up and running. That's where all of our resources are going right now, and make a good go of it over there, and hopefully get some people to stay here. Plenty of jobs in the trades. Stay there and grow and get some houses built in the Verde that we badly need for the whole area over there, and keep that affordability in mind.
Well, John, we are out of time, but I want to thank you very much for coming on the show today. Again, Yavapai College Dean of Technical Programs, John Morgan. When this project actually gets finished, we'll have to bring you back on and see how the reception has been.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Well, thank you again, John Morgan. Again, the Yavapai College Dean of Technical Programs. Go to yc.edu to learn more about the college itself, and if this is something for you, if you want to get into skilled trades, they're trying to get students in this upcoming fall. Again, yc.edu for more information. That is going to do it for today's Countywide. I am Philip Katafamo, wishing you a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.